Hello and welcome. My name is Jim Rutledge, and I want to be your candidate for the United States Senate here in Maryland in 2010. I am a constitutional conservative, a Ronald Reagan Republican. Our Constitution is a beautiful document that lays out fundamental principles that give us an opportunity to live free and to govern ourselves. A bold experiment in a particular type of democracy unmatched in the history of mankind. I stand with the Constitution and call you, as my friends and neighbors, to rally around those great principles that are set forth in that document. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the opportunity to pursue dreams, entrepreneurship, the parents' rights, all these things are laid out in the Constitution in a beautiful way that recognize that individuals can and will be free in America. But it takes a great deal of vigilance. Vigilance against threats to us in the world. Unfortunately, not everyone in the world shares our values or shares the American dream for freedom. Many would like to impose their will, their wishes, their convictions on anybody else that they can through the might of terror and threats and violence. At the heart of the terrorist attacks lies a motivation of enemies of America that would like to see our very civilization, our constitutional roots, pulled up and destroyed. And that's why in this segment I'm addressing national security. I'm addressing the threat of radical Islamic terrorism in America today. Underlying the radical view of Islam that threatens the United States Constitution and our very lives is a law called Sharia law. Sharia law is essentially Islamic law. Recently in Maryland, our Court of Appeals handed down a decision that made it very clear that Sharia law is unconstitutional. In other words, Islamic law is not constitutional and cannot be allowed to exist in Maryland or America. We have many things that are not consistent with our Constitution when you examine Islamic law and those terrorists that would like to impose it upon us. One of the areas of law has to do with women's rights. Women are treated equally in America. Women have the right to vote, to hold high office, to be judges, to be honored in our culture and society. Yes, under Islamic divorce law, men rule and reign, and that was the decision in Maryland that decided that Sharia divorce law is not constitutional because it does not adequately provide equal protection or basic due process rights for women. On another score, our banking system worldwide has been infiltrated by Sharia banking law. Islamic banking law is a threat to our free enterprise system because essentially what it requires is that anyone dealing with Islamic money and Islamic loans have to give up 10% of all profits to Muslim charities. That might seem okay on its face, except for the fact that the money that funded the attack on the World Trade Centers on September 11th came from many front organizations that called themselves Islamic charities. Let's be honest for once in Maryland and America about the true root of those that wish to destroy us. And let's not be silenced by those that would say, that is an intolerant, politically incorrect thing to do to single out, say, a particular religion. We're not singling out a religion. We're singling out and identifying radical Islamic terrorists who are actually represent the minority of Muslims throughout the world, yet are fully committed to the destruction of our lives and our nation. Maryland, don't we deserve a representative in Congress? Don't we deserve a United States Senator that understands the true nature of the threat and is bold enough to speak clearly about it? I'm willing to do that for you. I am willing to serve you in Washington, D.C., and I'm asking for your support and your vote. So let's not be choked to death by some political correct notion that we cannot truly identify those enemies that fight against us. Terrorists who seek to destroy America are not simply criminals entitled to some trial in New York City. Enemy combatants deserve a military trial, not a civil trial in the city where the people lost their children, their aunts and uncles and friends on 9/11. That is shameful. That is shameful, Mr. President, and our senators who support such an abuse of our legal system and such disrespect for those who have suffered so dearly. Thank you very much for joining me.